the new Iraq, right out of the playbook of Bush's invasion into Iraq. Oh, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. He has nuclear weapons. You have to attack Iraq. There were no nukes there. It was on false premises. Who got rich off of the wars in Iraq? The war contractors. They got richer. Their stocks went up. Halliburton, for example. Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton before he became vice president, and then we had 9/11, and then the war machine got rich off of 9/11. Iraq was based off of lies and false pretenses. Iran is based off of the same lies and false pretenses from 2003. The fact of the matter is Iran was not close to developing a nuclear weapon. They were no imminent threat to American national security. Iran has confirmed that there was no radiation leaks following the U.S. strikes on nuclear sites. Now, you have to be wary of mainstream media. Lying mainstream media says there was limited radiation leaks, but there actually was no radiation leaks following the strikes on the nuclear facilities in Iran. This is all about Netanyahu having Trump and the U.S. fight Israel's wars. That's why AIPAC controls over half of the Congress, because Israel has American right up the ass. Israel would rather have American lives sacrificed than the lives of their own citizens. They want us to fight their wars. That's what it comes down to. Donald Trump, the big giant fraud, is no different than the rest of these establishment hacks.
You still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right. Governor Bush.
Liar! Liar! There were no nuclear weapons in Iran. There was no nuclear bomb ready to be launched. They were not an imminent threat to the United States. This was an illegal war. This was an illegal bombing. Iran was no threat to America. We are sick and tired of all the wars in the Middle East. What happened to no wars? What happened till we get World War III of Kamala's president? What happened to that, Donald Trump? What happened to that? Tulsi Gabbard in March said Iran was nowhere near developing a nuclear weapon. Back in March, as director of U.S. intelligence, all the way back in March, Tulsi Gabbard says Iran, they are nowhere near from developing a nuclear weapon. The same fraud, Tulsi Gabbard, who says we shouldn't be engaging in endless warfare in the Middle East. We should be bringing the troops home and spending money on helping the country. She is reversing her tone, all to suck up the dear leader, Führer, Orange Menace, Donald Trump.
Sanity, because it doesn't have to be this way. I will end these wasteful regime change wars, work to end this new Cold War through the use of diplomacy to de-escalate these tensions and take the trillions of dollars that we've been wasting on these wars and on these weapons and redirect those resources into serving the needs of our people right here at home. Things like health care for all, making sure everyone in this country has clean water to drink and clean air to breathe, investing in education, investing in our infrastructure.
Fraud, complete fraud. It's no coincidence she reversed her tone literally days before the nuclear facilities got bombed. It's because she was sucking up to the Orange Menace. She was doing what she was told. She was told by Lord King, dear leader, to reverse her tone that Iran does have the nuclear weapon, and that's why we bombed Iran. So this was it's no coincidence that she said so 2 days ago, and a day later we bombed Iran. But they were years away from developing a nuclear weapon in March. Who's lying? You are lying. Donald Trump is lying. You were telling the truth in March, but you decided you needed to suck up the dear leader bitch of Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump. The bitch of Israel, Donald Trump. Let these fucking countries bomb each other to the motherfucking ground. There are no good guys in Israel. There are no good guys in Iran. They want to bomb and kill the shit out of each other. Bring all of our troops home. Get them out of the Middle East. Let the Middle East bomb itself to the ground. Fraud. 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 Complete fraud. Donald Trump is a complete fraud. They had no nuclear weapon. This is Iran all over again. Back in March, she said Iran wasn't even close to developing nuclear weapons, so she is now a war criminal. Donald Trump is a war criminal. This is all a justified pretext to wage warfare yet again in the Middle East. To fight Netanyahu's wars for him. Now, this isn't about the nuclear weapon. This is all about good old regime change that we tried in Iran and Afghanistan, but nothing changed. It's all about regime change in Iran. Now, when did America engage in regime change in Iran? 1953, Iran was a democracy like the United States, but we wanted control of their oil. So what did we do? We overthrew the democratically elected leader of Iran. We instituted a brutal dictator. And Iran had the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And they will never forgive America for destroying democracy in Iran, all because Iran didn't want the West controlling its oil and its natural resources. Now, this is the same playbook out of Iraq. Declare they have WMDs, bomb the hell out of Iran, regime change. He's now openly talking about regime change in Iran. Netanyahu just wants us to fight their wars for Israel. He lied. He got America in another war. He lied about WMDs. They're repeating the same mistake. This is, when has America won a war in the Middle East? You're not going to change these people in the Middle East. It's all about taking control of natural resources. It's about making war contractors richer. This is the good opinion piece from the Professor Amin Seiko from the University of Western Australia School of Social Sciences. The leader who bears most responsibility for this is undoubtedly Benjamin Netanyahu. And you think about for years, Netanyahu. Iran is close to developing a nuclear weapon. They're about to develop a nuclear weapon. He's been saying this for 30 years. He's been saying it for over 30 years. They have a nuclear weapon. They're ready to use a nuclear weapon. He's lying about it. He would love to have a greater Israel in the Middle East. He would love to. They're 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb, blah, blah, blah. This was 1995. He's a warmonger. He's not even liked in his own country. He is part of the right wing in Israel. They would rather have all Palestinians dead. No concrete evidence exists to this day that Iran has been manufacturing nuclear weapons. And again, Tulsi Gabbard confirms this. They said they had no nuclear weapons in March. Now, Rafael Grossi, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, said that on the basis of our evaluation, we came to the conclusion that we could not affirm that there's any systematic effort in Iran to manufacture a nuclear weapon. Doesn't Iran have the right to defend itself? After all, Israel has its own nuclear program. Okay, Israel has at least 90 nuclear warheads. You see, they have a lot of nuclear weapons there. So, I mean, this is about having the right to defend yourself, against the enemy. What if Israel wanted to wipe Iran off the map? We never want to ask that. Following 1978-79 Iranian Revolution that I spoke about, the Islamic regime expanded the power for both peaceful civilian purposes and deterrent purposes. The Iranian nuclear program. A secret military component was halted in 2003. Iran's powerful supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei declared nuclear bomb as un-Islamic with no place in Iran's defense doctrine. Now, the Obama Iranian nuclear deal, what it did was it lifted sanctions on Iran in exchange for limiting Iran's uranium enrichment to 3.7% for civilian use. So Iran was limiting its development of nuclear weapons. Donald Trump got rid of it because, it had Obama's name, and this meant that Iran could develop nuclear weapons again. No evidence of WMDs in Iran. Why would the world want to risk a nuclear war? After all, why hasn't Putin launched any nukes? A nuclear war is deadly. It could wipe your country off the face of the planet. They are lying about this war. This is another war, another conflict. Donald Trump's code is retarded. Some people are starting to see that he's a complete and utter and total fraud, bombing Iran, helping Israel start a war, fighting Israel's war for them, getting America involved in another unneeded conflict. American service lives are at stake, and who's to say that there could be any retaliatory attacks against the United States? An actual attack, or it could be economic retaliation from China. Same old neocons, different suits, different people, but the same exact neocons 20 years ago. A complete and utter fraud. There's no evidence that Iran was on the verge of having a nuclear weapon.